Hello and welcome to another Python tutorial episode. I apologize for missing the past 2 weeks of uploads, but as you can imagine, over the summer period, I will be taking a few breaks here and there. But please rest assured I am not going anywhere, and from September on, we will get back to full regular weekly uploads. Having said that, today we will talk about sliders. And I know that for our American friends, this might mean something different to what we will see today. However, what I mean within Tkinter is this. Namely, that kind of cursor which you can take and slide along, and that will change the value of your input. As you can see here, we have the slider, and below we have a label which displays the value. The value, of course, goes between 0 and 100, but this is purely custom, and we can give it whatever values we like. Now, as usual, let's go and see within our code how this simple output is obtained. We start, of course, by defining the value of our slider, and we have to declare that this is a tk double variable. In other words, a number. Then we have a small auxiliary function which customizes the text parameter of our value label. We will skip a few lines and go to line 33, where of course we create our value label. This is none other than a simple label connected to our root window and with a text assigned as our current slider value. This, of course, for ease of use, as you can see here, has been rounded to the nearest decimal point. Of course, we need to place our value label within our grid, so we do that in line 34, giving it row 2 column span as 2 and sticky equals north. Should you have any queries about using a grid to position our items within our window, then please make sure to check out my dedicated tutorial on this topic, which I've left linked for you above as well as in the description below. Now, returning to our code, we can see that on line 23, we can go back now, we define our slider label, which again is another label with a simple text of slider. Then finally we get to the topic of today, namely our slider itself, which in Tkinter has a specific name called scale. In this case, we can see that we give it our root window as the window in which it's inserted. Then we have to give it our from and to values. In this case, we say it goes from 0 to 100, but of course, as I said before, these are 100% customizable values and you can choose whatever suits your needs. Then we say in which orientation the slider should be, whether horizontal or vertical. In this case, it's horizontal. Then, of course, we assign a command to it, namely every time we modify the slider, what command we should execute. And in this case, we refer back to the auxiliary function we created in line 20 and 21. And finally, we assign a name to the variable of the scale or of the slider itself. In this case, we will call it current value. Then, of course, we have to place our slider within our window using the grid command as usual. And then, in line 30 and 31, we create a second label which again has a fixed text equal to current value. Of course, we need to place this again in our window using the grid command in line 31. Now, I hope you were all able to follow me this far. However, should you have any questions, then feel free to write them in the comments below. Of course, to round off today's tutorial, we will again look at the output of our code, clicking the F5 key. We can see that in the top left-hand side we have our slider label, and next to it we have the slider itself, or using Tkinter terms, our scale. Again, this can be slid backwards and forwards, and it will change our value. This is captured in the two labels below, current value, which remains always the same, and the one below it, which represents the value of our scale. Now with that, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, I invite you to show your support by liking, sharing the video, as well as subscribing to the channel. I thank you all for your continued support, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, as usual, happy coding!